Hello there, it is I, Reincarnator, and this is the last video of 2022. It is hard to believe that the year is already over again, and so I wanted to take this opportunity to look back on all that happened. 2022 began, at least for this channel, in February, when I made the very first VRChat video that was more than just an unscripted podcast. Why I love VRChat is one of my best performing VRChat videos ever, even though I'm just explaining the game out of my own perspective. I showed the worlds, avatars and communities which, in my opinion back then, formed the key concepts of VRChat. Would I change my take on the game today? Maybe a little, but that is a story for another day. All in all, I still believe the video is a good first impression for people interested in the game. Up till then I used VRChat for, well, podcasts as I said before, because I thought it was interesting that we could all sit in a room even though we are scattered across the globe. But this first scripted video prompted me to think, I wonder if I can do actual scripted videos in here. And so I made a music video to a song I listened on loop back then. That music video was on the one hand a way for me to experiment, on the other hand it also served to showcase my love once again for the game. I was in some sort of hole back then, and VRChat and everyone I knew in there really helped me to stay sane. I guess that is why I wanted to make that video too, and whenever I watched it, and yes, I watched that myself sometimes, I felt better. Next came to talk about literature, which was a disaster. No, I did not dislike sitting there with Al, he's one of my best friends after all, but I call it a disaster because of many different reasons. First, it was supposed to be a podcast, but no one had time or the muse. Second, my microphone was terrible back then. And third, the entire video has an echo sound because I tried a new recording method, which, surprise, sucked. Had I known what I'd do next, I would have probably done the literature podcast as a completely different thing. Namely, idiots in VR getting coffee. Oh yes, this series has become a fixed one on my channel this year, and also my favorite by far. It started as a conversation with a friend. We were talking about the Netflix series Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. Notice something already? And boom, the idea was born to do something like that in VRChat with friends. My friend, who I mentioned before, helped me to come up with the final name, and the rest is recorded history. First I did it with Carly, then with Wildclaw, and then with Turbo, all three very close friends of mine who I love to have on the show. We would sit together for sometimes over 3 hours, which was the funniest part, because we just talked like always, without a camera. I just wrote a few key topics. The difficult part then came when I had to compile that multiple hours long recording into a 22-minute video. But it was always worth it. Idiots in VR Getting Coffee might not be the best performing series on my channel, but most likely that is because of the length. I mean, let's be honest, the attention span of people these days is a TikTok short. Having said that, I still love making them, because I can spend time with my favorite folks while doing so. Let's see where this series is going in 2023. By now, I guess it is worth mentioning that 2022 was a year of trying out new stuff on the channel. And the next thing that made an appearance was VRChat Tales. Combining my love for reading and writing with my love for making videos, I came up with this, and soon the storyteller became a fixed part of my channel, telling tales about shadows, ravens, robots, reapers, horsemen, and more. Truth be told, this series is actually the most laborious one to record. First I write a poem, which is work in its own right. The poem has to include a story, a lesson, and must be performable in VRChat, all while being short and compact. Jesus Christ, what did I get myself into here? After that I recorded the voice lines, and then after that I finally get to record the actual scenes. which I had to match with the voice lines. And the editing, well, let's just say I am incredibly picky with these videos. Everything must be perfect. The rattling of the robot must start there, the music here, the background noises must get quieter the second the door of the hut closes, and so on. But while it may be stressful to create, the end product was always something I was happy with in the end, worth the effort. Then I felt a need to showcase my favorite VR chat worlds for some reason, so I did, which was pretty fun to record, and then came that video. The one real life video just popping up there. It was the 8th month of 2022, and I finally had enough of a certain thing which I did not talk about yet. Yes, my friends and a lot of other people too were incredibly supportive, and yes, it was a lot of fun to create this new content, but there was this small percentage of people who kept rambling on. Rambling that my new content sucks, nobody likes watching it, and that I should finally go back to making real-life comedy videos or whatever I did before. It started to annoy me so much that, against all my friends' advice, I made a video where I declared once and for all that everyone should shut up, because this is what I do now, and if someone doesn't like it, they should leave. Granted, I may have worded it a bit nicer in that video, but you get the gist. Sure enough, the comments, the messages, and the remarks stopped after that. There is no but, even though it may sound like it. It actually worked. And so I moved on. And got COVID. After recovering and doing some videos, the spooky season came, my favorite time of the year, even before Christmas I dare say. I made some Halloween videos, including a podcast, which was pretty nostalgic because the last time we did one was 2021. And then, the finish line of 2022 already was reached. And boy, that was an incredible finish line. Even though I had a tight schedule, I was able to do one more Idiots in VR Getting Coffee, which was fun, but then, well, let's just say I get the greatest ideas when I have the littlest time. And so I had to lay a very grand idea on ice, only being able to record a small teaser for the time being. Before long, the newest character then made an appearance. The detective, who I tampered with for longer now, finally realizing it. It was a refreshing mixture of scripted and unscripted, which I always wanted to try, and after seeing how much fun my friend Yokai and I had recording this, the detective will definitely return in 2023, maybe even sooner than you might think. Christmas time came, and with that the time to thank everyone once more. I could not put it into words, so I decided to do what I do best, write a poem. Christmas time, however, also brought back one of the oldest traditions of my channel, the crappy Christmas special. What started years ago with me just playing and editing music over scenery evolved into us actually singing 2 years ago. And then there was a pause, so I'm incredibly happy that I was able to do this again this year with my friends. The rest? Well, all communities did Christmas events, and I managed to actually be at every single one of them, which was also one of my highlights this month. The Archon brought the year to a smooth end, and now we are here, on the last page of this book, called 2022. Standing here, I can only say once more, thank you. Truly thank you to all of you. The year had heights and depths, sure, but right here, where I am now, is where I belong. And if I had to summarize 2022, I would simply say it was absolutely fantastic. I'll see you all next year. Until then, I bid you a very fond farewell.
あなたの声が道しるべ一羽の鳥が鳴いている名前のない空に私 静かに眠るよ